Hello, 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 everybody. I am so excited. Welcome to another episode of the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. Oh, y'all, this is going to be good. This is going to be so good. We are talking about unlocking your full potential, right? Your full potential with purpose driven leadership. And if y'all know anything about me, I love anything to do with purpose. And I have the perfect guest joining me today. And her name is Dr. Sunni Lampasso. And I'm so excited for her to be with us talking about purpose driven leadership. Y'all, we're going to get into it right after this. Dr. Sunni.
Hi, Kiki. How are you?
How are you?
Great.
Oh,
Glad to be here.
yay, I'm so excited that you're here. We have a little history together, of course, right? Like we met on the beautiful, illustrious LinkedIn. And then you did mentor coaching with me because you are also, not only are you a psychologist, but you're also a executive and leadership coach. And so you are credentialed through the ICF. And so I'm so excited that we got to connect and build this relationship. And when I was thinking about who I should have on a show in terms of people who I know could really impart some amazing knowledge on the audience, I automatically thought of you. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think it's great to, have built this relationship with you and now kind of coming full circle. And we're here talking today about something that's really important to both of us.
I know. I can't wait to dig into this conversation. If you are here live with us, go ahead and drop your name in the chat and let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to give you a shout out. So, we are going to be talking about purpose driven leadership. But before we dig in, I'd love for you to give everybody a little intro about yourself. I know I did a little peekaboo, but I want you to kind of give them a little intro so that they can know who you really are.
Sure. Well, again, my name's Dr. Sunni Lampasso, and I am a consulting psychologist and executive coach. I have a background and degree in clinical psychology, but I'm really utilizing all of that knowledge to apply it into the workplace, to help leaders be the best that they can be, to really succeed, and to create positive workplaces. And I do that really through my business, which is shaping success.
Gotcha. Yes. Creating positive workplaces. You know, you're speaking all the language, right? You're speaking all the language that I speak all the time. So this is going to be a good conversation. Well, tell us what your biggest superpower is, Sunni, Dr. Sunni.
I would say my biggest superpower is my ability to motivate people. And I think that really comes from my passion and enthusiasm for what I do. And also like from my ability to connect with people. I think it tends to be motivating and inspiring.
It is. I can say I look at you on LinkedIn all the time. You're always somewhere doing something with somebody. And I was like, so I'm like, there Dr. Sunni is again doing her thing. And so I absolutely love to see it. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So we're talking about purpose-driven leadership. And of course, like I said, this topic is so near and dear to my heart. For one, I've written a book on purpose and everything like that. And I think that purpose is such a huge thing for people to know and to understand in their lives. And so I want to ask you what your definition, first of all, of purpose is.
In terms of purpose, I think having a sense of meaning, like an underlying reason why you're doing the things that you do. So really your purpose is the who and the what that's important to you, and then what you're doing toward it.
I love that. The who and the what of what you're doing. Yeah. And I think that we all have it, but not everybody really understands or can pinpoint what that is for them. And so, with that being said, what's your purpose in life?
Well, I would say my general overall purpose, which it has been for many years since I was a teenager is really to help people. And I think over time, based on my own experiences and my own self reflection, I've really honed and refined that purpose to really helping people be their best, whether that's personally or professionally. And I also, that's important to me for myself as well. So really focusing on balance and wellness and what I can do to grow and develop.
I love that. We have similar purposes because I really feel like everybody's purpose is to help somebody else, because I just can't think that we were just placed on earth for ourselves, right? We were placed on earth to kind of help others, and so I agree with you. And mine has been to help people transform their life and career, and I think where purpose differs between people is how we actually do that, right? Like you are amazing coach, an amazing consulting psychologist, and you really get in there and you help people. And I think that is where that superpower then shows up the most. And so that's really exciting. So let's dig into purpose driven leadership. So we understand what purpose is. So tell me, what is purpose driven leadership? The word has been out there a lot, right? Like, I mean, I've heard it a
Mhm.
lot. I think there may be a couple books about purpose driven leadership and stuff like that, but I want to know from your terminology, what is purpose driven leadership?
To me, purpose driven leadership is leading with a sense of meaning and being able to make a positive impact, and also like creating a better future for your organization and really for the world in general. So sort of at a greater level, I think that's the first piece. And then really the second piece is focusing on guiding and inspiring others along the lines of your own vision or the organizational vision, and really leading them in that direction.
I love that. Um, do you think that everybody leads with purpose?
I don't think that everyone is always in touch with their purpose when they're leading. So, and then I think too, there are other people who try to lead with purpose, but then things can get in the way. There can be obstacles and roadblocks.
Okay. So for those people who you know face these roadblocks, what are they? Because I agree. I don't think that everybody shows up to lead with purpose, right? I mean, but why? Why not?
Mhm. Well, I think there are several reasons, and maybe I'll touch on a few because I know we have only a short amount of time. But I think, one is really clarifying your purpose. And then, once you do that, sort of being able to revisit it and stay in touch with it. I think
Mm,
that's really key, because I think even when leaders are in touch with their purpose, they can lose sight of it based on other things that are going on, like short-term stressors and demands of the job or their personal life. You can get sort of derailed from it. So I think that's one piece. Another thing that can come into play that can take you away from your purpose are, thoughts and feelings that bring you away from your purpose.
mm,
So, whether that be thoughts related to anxiety or self-doubt, I think thoughts like that can make you act not according to purpose. So I think really important to keep reevaluating, like be aware, and also, to have other things in place to help keep you aware.
no, I love that. That is so true because thoughts and feelings, we have them all day, all the time. And
Mhm.
I know even in my own life, there have been thoughts, there have been feelings, there have been, different things to make me feel like I'm not good enough or I'm not where I should be, even though we know where we are is based on what we've done. And so I get really discouraged. In the past, I've gotten really discouraged, and that has um, played into the decisions that I've made, right? About how I lead and what I do in my organization. Has Where has purpose driven leadership shown up for you personally in your own life?
I really think that purpose driven leadership for me has sort of driven me into focusing on the workplace, into starting this new business a few years ago. Really, my own experiences as a new leader and in workplace cultures where I didn't really know how to navigate. I didn't know what my strengths were, really wanting to help people with that piece, and managing the stress of the workplace too. I think, again, my own experiences early on as a leader where I didn't have that support, I didn't have that help, have led me along this path to really want to help others at work, because I think work affects us everywhere else.
Oh my God, work affects us all the places. I don't know about you, but I'm at home working.
Me too.
Right. So we're at home. We're in the home office. We're working. So that means, at any given time, if my kids wasn't at camp, they'd be here. And I still sometimes have to work. And so when you were in the workplace and in leadership, did you find that most people at your level just didn't have the kind of support that they needed in the organization to be a better leader?
Yes, really, my experience was that often people moved up the ranks because of A, their technical skill set, or B, their education level. And they didn't necessarily have training on leadership development. How do you be a good leader? What is purpose driven leadership? How do you really make that happen? Why is it important? And so that really sort of ties into my purpose now.
Yeah. So did you have leaders, anybody who led with purpose when you were in the workplace?
Unfortunately, I didn't have any leaders that were role modeled in that way.
Wow. That says a lot, right? Like that says a lot. I can think back to when I was in corporate America as well. And I think hmm, I know I had at least one, two leaders who I felt led with purpose. Being a social worker, that was my career before this. I had two really amazing leaders who really cared. They really, really, really cared. And I think I'm fortunate as I think about it now, because you're right. I don't think I had anybody else who I knew led with purpose and understood and really was there for our clients and for our patients and stuff like that in the way that they were. And I think that's sad. I mean, do you feel like in the work that you do is is just happening more and more often that people just are not showing up as a purpose driven leader?
I think what I'm seeing more now is that people are showing up as purpose driven leaders,
Ooh.
right? And I think in the past, my experience has been with certain leaders that they have said their purpose,
Mhm.
but their behaviors haven't matched up. So there
Mm.
really wasn't that alignment. And I think that's so key for purpose driven leadership. People not only need to know your purpose, they need to see you acting toward it. Like, I think that's a big piece.
Yeah, no, this that is so important. Can you share with us what that might looks like? Because I think when when we coach people, right? Coaching results in behavior change, right? Like that's at the end of the day, coaching results in behavior change. But some people don't know what that then shows up and that looks like in the workplace. Can you give an example?
Sure. A CEO client that I had really was the prime example of a purpose driven leader. So was very invested in providing a service to clients, but as well in helping employees with their own professional development. So really engaging them. This CEO engaged in professional development opportunities themselves and really made a concerted effort to help employees figure out what were their goals and to
Mhm.
help them get there and to really invest in them. So it wasn't just saying, I care about you and your development. It was also, I care because, and I'm doing it for myself, and I want to help you get there. Let's make a plan to do it.
Oh, yes. Because here's the thing, if you're willing to put money behind it for somebody else, meaning your employees, then that is showing, and those actions are showing that you're invested. That's good because we can go into organizations and I see one or two things sometimes. I either see the senior leadership team um not getting the services or that they need, but being able to offer it to the team members, or the other way around, right? But I love it when I see a team or a CEO who's willing to get in the trenches, understand that they're still learning as well, and provide it to their staff. That's a game changer.
I, I couldn't agree more. I think that really creates a sense of trust, right? That whole
Mhm,
psychological safety, where if a leader is doing what they say and what they believe in,
mhm,
then that helps to really build trust. And,
mhm.
that's so key to organizational success.
No, it is. And I think I talked about like trust, man, like it cannot be understated, right? It can't be understated. So do you think that trust is one of the qualities that a purpose driven leader needs to have?
Yes, I definitely think they are very tied together because I think purpose driven leaders, while they have the ability to inspire and motivate, they also really increase innovation and collaboration through developing a sense of trust, feeling like it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to talk about things and openly communicate and work and on solving problems together.
Yeah, yeah. What are some other qualities that you feel a driven leader should have?
Well, I think a very big one is self-awareness, right?
Mm,
Really developing, or actually all of the emotional intelligence skills,
right.
self-awareness being one, the first main component. A
Hmm.
leader has to be aware of, what are their strengths? How can they leverage them? What are emotions that are showing up for them in certain situations? How are those emotions coming into play in decision making when under stress? So
Yeah.
I really think self-awareness is huge.
What's interesting is that um as a coach to, many over the years, I've seen so many leaders who are just not aware. They don't have the skill of
Mhm.
self-awareness, and this is something that we work a lot on in coaching. But I always, tend to wonder, how does one get to such a high place in an organization without the self-awareness skill? How do you think that actually happens?
Well, I think that kind of goes back to something I mentioned earlier. I think sometimes people are promoted because they have such amazing technical skills,
Mhm.
right? And I think somehow this other piece is missed. And they're so focused on doing the
Yeah.
work. And they do the work so well. They're so good at what they do that suddenly they find themselves in a leadership position and may not have taken that time to assess their values or, really self reflect.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that I totally agree with you. And we see it all the time, which is why I feel that every leader in the on the face of this planet needs to go through some kind of leadership development, hopefully coaching, right? It's the truth, right? Like I think that because people are great at skills, right? We all have skills, we all have strengths. We might not know what they are, and I mean that's one of the things that you and I do is we help people, figure out what their strengths and be able to walk in them. But how to lead, it's a different story. It's a different story.
Exactly. I mean, I know we share this in common is really the power of coaching to help you in this process of increasing your self-awareness and developing your leadership capabilities, it really is, it's a game changer.
So we're talking about, purpose driven leadership. And so what I want to know is, how can a purpose driven leader really align their personal purpose with their work purpose or their overall purpose, right? Is there a difference between those two?
I do think there's a difference between those two, and really taking a look at both separately is important.
Mm.
So, understanding what your personal purpose is, again, through that self reflection, through self development, and, working with others along that process, but also understanding the purpose of the organization by
Mm.
really talking to people at all levels, and having these open conversations about the purpose and the vision of the organization. And then from there, evaluating, okay, where is there overlap between the two?
You know what, Sunny? That is so good, because I have just been talking to a leader in an organization, and we're going to be doing some work there. And that is one of the things that they definitely want to make sure happens, is that the work that we do in the organization, they want to make sure that leaders in that organization understands how to apply the work and the knowledge that they're getting from the coaching that we're doing to their work in the organization. And I
Mhm.
was like, it's absolutely going to happen. But I think that it doesn't always happen. And I'm wondering, right? I'm wondering how many people really understand or know the mission and the vision of their organizations. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I've seen that be a challenge in organizations where they may have a mission statement, but it's not clear, it's not being talked about. There may be a strategic plan based on the mission, but it's not necessarily being implemented consistently. So I
Mm.
think that's where we can really come in and provide value. Really understanding the importance that everyone is on board with the mission and vision, and how are they bringing that in on a daily basis in their work.
Yeah, definitely. I think that even with my company, I mean, I'm pretty sure with your company, we all have missions and visions. And I'm like, how often do I talk about our mission and vision to our coaches, right? How often do we bring it up and we keep it at the forefront of our mind? And I think I think it's just super important to do. Okay. So, if I were a leader, and I really love this conversation about purpose driven leadership, but I don't think that I am one yet, how can one actually become a purpose driven leader?
Well, I think there are lots of steps, but really starting off with that self reflection process, I
Okay.
think, is number one. You have to really work on developing your self awareness, getting in touch with your values, doing a values assessment or inventory, maybe implementing a mindfulness practice as well, to sort of as part of that reflection on, where are you in your journey? And again, that important question, who and what is important to you right now?
I love that. Okay, so where I start, if I haven't been a purpose driven leader, if I want to make sure that I am headed down the direction of being a purpose driven leader, is I need to start with the question, who and what is important to me
Mm-hmm.
right now, right? Um, and along with that question, I can do a values inventory. And so explain to our listeners, right, what a values inventory is. Because, we're coaches and we be saying stuff and we be thinking other people know what we talking about, but they don't. So I want to break it down, and where can one find one as well. So go ahead.
Mhm. Well, I think there are lots of values lists that you can easily download or Google, and really taking a look at the list of, integrity, compassion, empathy, various values, and see what stands out for you. What are your top three? What are your top five? What is your number one? Really looking at, what again matters most to you, and then asking yourself, like, are you doing things, engaging in, daily behaviors that move you in that direction, that show that empathy is a value, for example.
I love that. So you can go on, on the web and find a values list and start really going down it. It's interesting because being a coach, we probably give these values, tools to our clients often. I know I've done it. And then some periodically I'll be like, let me look at this list again, right? Let me look at this list for myself to see where I'm at. And it's interesting because sometimes my values change, right? They change over
Mhm.
time. I think my big ones stay the same, right? I value, spending time with family. I value doing the work that I love. Those things, and so I think they stay the same. But there are a lot of values on those lists. And I'm like, wow, I forgot about that one, and I forgot about that one. And so, have you had that happen before when you're working with a client trying to help them figure out values? They're like, oh my God, it's overwhelming. It's too many.
Definitely. And I've had a similar experience to you as well, where, sometimes, the big ones stay the same, but sometimes others change or move up in importance at times. And I definitely see that with clients as well. And like you said, this list of values, sometimes there are, several columns of different values.
Mhm.
And I think really helping clients with figuring out what are the top three, or even the biggest one, can be a starting point, because I agree, when you Google these lists, it can be a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, so we talked about really answering that tough question of, where, what do I want out of life? Where am I at right now? What are my values? And then you mentioned mindfulness as well. Can you give us a definition of mindfulness and some examples?
Sure. I think mindfulness for me really involves being fully present for something. So you're completely engaged in the thing. You are experiencing it through all of your senses. Your mind isn't somewhere else on something else. So
Mhm.
really just being, I would say, being in the moment is
Mhm.
mindfulness.
I love it. And then, so how would one practice mindfulness? Like I I do it through prayer and sometimes, meditation and stuff like that. But what are your favorite mindfulness practices?
Mhm. Well, I think those are great tools. I like doing an exercise where I focus on all of the senses. So, just a simple exercise, something you do every day, you brush your teeth. But I
Mm,
think a lot of times that can be mindless. So,
mhm.
we're not focused on what we're doing. We're thinking about what we have to do or what we just did or something else. So, really focusing on all of your senses. How does the toothpaste taste, smell, look? How does the toothbrush feel while it's in your mouth? So, again, bringing you fully into that moment. And I think another way to get that as well is when you're trying something new. Because I
Mm.
think a lot of times you fully focus on it and you find yourself in the moment. You're not somewhere else.
Yeah, no, y'all are never gonna brush your teeth the same after this. You're welcome.
Exactly.
Right? I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna be like, this toothpaste tastes awesome. No, but I love that example because it's true. A lot of stuff that we do is mindless, not mindfulness, because we're not completely present to the act that we're actually doing. Well, this has been amazing. Oh my God. Like our time, I tell you, every time our time goes by so quickly. Okay, so last question about this. What what final words would you give a person aspiring to be a purpose-driven leader?
Simply invest in yourself.
Mm, mm. Go deeper.
Well, and again, I think, work on developing yourself professionally and personally. Make that investment, engage in self-reflection, and do things to grow.
I love it. I love it. Well, Dr. Sunni, please tell people what is going on in your world and where can they find you at?
All right. Well, the big thing, I guess, going on in my world, in addition to work and the business, which is busy, is writing a book. So I am, working on how to helping people navigate the challenges of staying in touch with purpose and staying on that path. And how do you really navigate that? What are tools to do that? So that's super exciting. And you can find me on LinkedIn. My name's Sunni Lampasso, or I'm also on Instagram, shaping_success. And those are the easiest ways to reach me. I can give an email as well, but it's pretty long.
Okay, awesome. Y'all, please go follow her on LinkedIn and Instagram. You will see she's all over the place doing all the amazing things. And so I'm just excited. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, really teaching us about purpose-driven leadership. It's a topic that I think we all needed to hear. So I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Kiki. It's been great talking with you.
Awesome. So if you all were joining us live, or if you're listening to this on podcast, please feel free to share this message because we all can use a little purpose-driven leadership in our lives. If you are a woman who is struggling to manage all of the things, all the career, the family, the work, everything, I invite you to join me in my new course called Thrive, Transform Your Life and Career. I'm so excited because the doors to Thrive are absolutely now open, but I want you to get in because this is the only time this year that I'm offering Thrive. And this is a 6-week live coaching course that I'm going to take you to so that you can transform your life and your career. All right, y'all. I am so happy you were here with me. Please share this message with somebody else. Until next time, peace.